Hey y'all, it's time for rolling dice and taking names. In this episode, the guys talk about the games from our BooBQ, including Dust and Dirt, Magical Athlete, Railroad Tiles, and more. Plus a preview of the upcoming asymmetric game Hood. And for taste buds, BooBQ attendees try Da Bomb.
Hello and welcome to episode number 364, Fractured Mirror. I'm Tony.
I'm Marty.
And another episode named after a rock star from our childhood has passed away. Ace Frehley from Kiss, lead guitarist, wasn't he? He was the guitarist. Yeah.
He was.
Yep. Because Gene Simmons was the bassist. No.
Correct. Yeah. You got it.
Peter Criss was the drummer.
Yes.
And I'm missing, who am I missing?
The lead singer.
Well, I thought Gene Simmons was the lead singer.
They both sang.
Okay, I'm drawing a blank. Who was it?
That's okay. Just because you said it now, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh my gosh.
Initials are PS.
Paul Stanley.
There you go.
Oh,
Good
man,
job.
Why did that just leave me? Holy
It
cow,
left me too. Because that's what happens when you get old.
The neurons don't fire. So Ace Frehley was the spaceman, the astronaut, the cosmic.
Yep.
And then Paul Stanley, I think, was the superstar because he had the star.
Yes.
Gene Simmons was, and I'm doing all this from memory, y'all. So that's why it's
great.
Fractured. Gene Simmons was the demon.
Bat demon, yeah.
Bat demon. And what was the drummer?
Peter
What was
Criss.
What was he? Oh.
Can you think of his face?
Oh, he's the cat. The
I did like I had whiskers on my
whiskers.
face.
He did cat, yeah. He was the cat. Which I don't remember why he was the cat.
I don't know either. It's like everybody else had these really cool things. Like, I'm a cat.
All right. So why this album? First off, when you research all this fun stuff, after Kiss had toured for over 5 or 6 years and put together some incredible albums in the early 70s, they were sick of one another.
Yes.
And,
That's right.
and they needed a break. So each of the members recorded a solo album.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say Frehley's was the best of the 4, but that is up for debate.
Sure.
And Fractured Mirror was the one that highlighted his skills as a guitarist, singer, and writer as well, I believe.
Uh-huh.
I think he wrote that. I can't remember. I just know that a ton of people contributed to Kiss. You go through their list of all the people who wrote songs for him, contributed to them. Just amazing history. Whether you liked them or not, I thought they were weird when I was growing up, but my cousins loved them. So anyway. And they were lead Halloween characters back then too.
Lead Halloween characters, yeah. So I think that was a segue into what we did yesterday, which is BooBQ. It was our annual BooBQ down in the basement of our house, where, including me and Vanessa, we had 7 other people for a total of 9 people coming in. And we spent, I know you left a little earlier tonight, but we actually spent 13 hours from 10 to 11 at night playing games, eating, socializing, have a great time.
Yeah, I was a big old tick by the time I got out of there around 9:45. Holy cow! Woo!
Everybody felt that. It's like everybody's like, all right, Monday. Yeah, Monday I'm getting back to it because
why?
People were bringing in, tons of amazing good food. We had Steve bring in the barbecue, which we typically have, barbecue pork, barbecue chicken, baked beans, casseroles, people bringing in snacks, desserts, cornbread, cakes. Donna brought a brain cake, which was very well designed. If you want to go see a picture of it, go check on our social medias over on X or on Instagram, and you can see the brain cake that she made.
I was talking with her about it. Her chocolate cake is really good, but I was like, she goes, if I'd redo this, I'm not going to do the strawberries. I would do the strawberry jelly to give it that blood look. She says, I'd just do candy melts and do red. I said, okay, there you go. Good. Because I didn't like the strawberry on it. But anyway, that's okay. But everything was amazing. Vanessa's trifle was there. And of course, you and her, and the baked beans with meat. That's how you do baked beans, people. You put meat in it.
Mark brought his crack bars, what we call crack bars, because they're like cream cheese bars, and they're just like so addictive. So good.
And then Bert with the sweaty balls. Oh,
yeah, sausage balls, baby. Oh, good stuff. Good
so
stuff.
Good. Oh,
and the potato salad. I like his potato salad that his wife made. It was like chunks of potatoes, which I like better than the mustard based with really small potatoes and dill and stuff.
Yeah, the roost, we call it here in the South, roost salad. You go into the grocery store and a big old tub of that stuff that can last until next year of 2026. It's all yellow. The mustard keeps it going in the dill. But, that's what I grew up on, so that's the taste. But, yeah, it was very good as a white based. And I'm like, oh, that's so good. But besides eating, we also played a few games. I mean, it wasn't as like it's been in the past where we've had game after game after game, because we did a lot of long games. And because it took, in my opinion, the tournament took a long time.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, so it was funny after it was all over, Vanessa and I were talking about it. It said it felt a little different. I said, I think one reason why is, yes, we had the tournament we'll talk about, but there were less times of people kind of splitting off and having two games run at once, because we were able to find games that everybody could participate in, which was really nice throughout the day.
Yeah. And none of it was werewolf. Thank you.
No, it wasn't. But we did kind of start out the day with a little kind of a deduction game, Snake Charmers. This is a brand new game from Randolph Games and Hachette. Tony, this is one of those games that it's like I tell everybody, just start playing and we'll kind of figure out as we go. And then kind of towards the end, you realize kind of what the goal is. There were some things I liked about this game. Okay, so the idea, number one, is it's very simple. Very few cards are in play. You've got cards if there was enough of us here to where there's 9 cards around the table that are all with the night side showing. There's a night side and the day side. And then we have a stack of cards ranging from 0 to 9 with 3 snakes in them. And we start dealing out cards. Everybody's going to have 2 cards except for one person that has 3. What they're going to do is we're going to play, and over the course of the game, there is a goal of whoever has a snake card in their hand is a snake. Whoever does not, obviously, is not. And there's winning conditions for each. And Tony, so if I had 3 cards and you've got 2, I can pick any of you that still has an open door available. Also, everybody has a door card to show where they've been picked. People can only be picked once per round. I could pick Tony, and I could take a card out of my hand, Tony. I can slide it over to you, and I can tell you that is a number 0 through 9 or a snake. I could be lying. I could be telling the truth. You have the right of first refusal to that card.
Mm-hmm.
If you say no, I take another card from my hand, and I offer it to you. I tell you what it is. And if you don't want that one, well, then you're going to get the third one. I still have to tell you what it is. Or I'll tell you lie or truth what it is. You will take one of those 3 cards, pick it up. You will just either do one of 2 things. You'll say nothing happens, or if the card I gave you matches a number of a card that's on the table that's on the night side, you flip it to the day side. If it's on the day side, it's removed from the center of the table. But if I said, hey, I want to hand you a 3, and you end up flipping the 6, well, everybody knows I lied because it wasn't the 3.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're the one with 3 cards, so you get to pick somebody else to start passing cards to. The goal of the snakes is by the time the game ends, they want the last card on the table being a night card. The people who aren't snakes want only day cards showing. And if it's only day cards showing, then they're going to win. But Tony, what I like about this is you can pass off the snake card if you want. If you don't think you have a good chance of winning as the snake, you can try to cleverly pass that off to make somebody else a snake.
I'm about to bust here. I'm really about to bust. I'm like, where's my theme, dude? Because,
there's no theme. It's not meant to have a theme. This is too simple to have a theme.
But why do the snakes want it to be night? Because snakes crawl at night. That's what they say.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It was sitting right there in front of you. Why? How do the snakes win? The snakes crawl at night. At least that's what they say. And
so for somebody who is not into flavor text or anything like that, like you don't care about theme, you get so hung up on what they're trying to create in this theme, in this game, that's only going to last about 15 minutes.
I'm only it was right there in front of us. I was like, come on, man. Where's he going to go with this? But yes, I like the fact that it wasn't going to drag out, or at least I hoped it wasn't going to drag out. It took a little while because, leaving the party, I was thinking, I tell you about the game. I was thinking about it driving home, saying, what was it I wasn't understanding? What was I not getting? But why am I thinking about this? Mm-hmm. Therefore, it's on the brain because I knew I was going to have to explain it when I got home to Donna, she always asks, hey, what did you play? And I was like, what was it about this? How could I have played that better? How could I have understood it better? And I think a lot of it comes down to, these deduction games is, okay, Marty just lied. So does that mean he's trying to get rid of those cards, and he's trying to make me get rid of it as someone who may not be the snake charmer?
Right.
Or if he knows I am a snake charmer, then he's going to give me one to where I can shed it off like a skin. I'm sitting there trying to get rid of those cards. And I was like, okay, but if I'm not a snake charmer, I'm going to try to make sure that we are passing cards that I'm not going to be able to pass cards to give the snakes the ability to get rid of them. That was the rub. That was the challenge.
Yeah. The challenge was too, is just getting those night cards flipped up. So that means the card that you had to pass was a card that was on the table that had the night side showing, so that you could get it flipped to the day side. So the entire time, if you aren't a snake, you're just trying to get those cards flipped over from night to day as fast as possible. And if a card's already been removed from the game, let's say a 3 has been flipped from night to day, then somebody else sends somebody else a 3, the 3 is removed. The next time the 3 is passed, the person who receives it can only do one thing. They just say, nothing happens.
Right.
It depends on the situation. Sometimes the snake may want that. Sometimes they may not want that.
Right. But I want the snakes to get hands full of cards where nothing happens, so that when they're passing, that's our only option, to give somebody nothing happens, so that they can eliminate the day cards.
Or they only have cards in their hand that are just the night cards left on the table, so that they have to be flipped. I will say, we played for 6 players. This plays 3 to 6 players. I think a sweet spot may honestly be 4, because it's probably easier to track what people had just passed recently. And, oh, by the way, once everybody has had the chance to have cards given to them in a round, the only thing that changes is everybody picks up their door card saying they're available to be picked again, and you just continue playing. I do like that between rounds, there's no reshuffling of cards or anything. You just say, okay, next round, everybody's now available to be picked. So I like that too. I think it's one of those clever little deduction games that there's probably a lot of going on beneath the surface to kind of figure out how to game the game and bluff with other people.
Right. And I think it's very important that in between every round, you're tracking who's actually lying as they give the cards, so that you can say, okay, I'm not wanting to pick. And my other favorite, and I think you've already mentioned this, is the being able to only pick those who are open for business. The door is open. I like that way you're not passing back and forth between people. They eliminate that whole chance of that. So you always have to pick someone that's there.
Yeah.
That it's not a bunch of people teaming up against others. So it was very interesting. It was the fact that I actually, on the way home, I'm like, okay, how could I have played this better? I won, but what would have happened if I had been a snake? How could I forced someone to, get rid of those other cards and keep the 2 turned down, right?
And actually, I was a snake the whole game until the final round, and I was dealt 2 snake cards. So, y'all, if you think about it, everybody just randomly dealt cards. There's no reason somebody can't get multiple snake cards like I did. So I actually turned Vanessa into a snake. But the thing is, though, is once she passes a card, she could have passed the snake card. So no longer can I think that she's still a snake. But towards the end, I felt like, I think the odds are the humans are going to win. So I was trying to get rid of the snake card. And when I finally did it, then actually the humans were able to win, because that last card was flipped from the day side, from the night side to the day side. So This is a small box game. Very few cards are in there, but they're high quality and stuff. I think it's a really clever party game with the holidays coming up. It's something you might want to look at, because it is a little cute small box game. And I mean, it's fresh off the printing presses, so it'll be coming out soon.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing says Christmas like the game Snake Charmers.
Another game that we got to play that is brand new from Asmodee that I think was a hit over the entire room, Tony, was Magical Athlete.
Magical Athlete. Yeah, once got home, was talking about this. Had a lot of thoughts on this one as well. So this is my speed of a game. You're rolling dice, moving a figure. Everybody's rolling a dice on their turn, and they're moving their figure around the board. And when you've crossed the finish line, depending on when you cross, you'll get so many points. There's going to be 4 races in total. You're going to run 4 races, and whoever has the most victory points at the end, who is is going to win the game. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the person who crosses the finish line all the time is going to win. That's the game. Now, where's the rub? Every character has a special power that is playing off another character or doing something or messing you up. It's got a lot of interaction. It's all about these character powers that we chose that everybody would get to draft. So we were drafting characters that from the very get-go, Marty, in my opinion, this is the strategy right there. Building your team of racers so that at the end of the game, you will have the most. How will they play off? How can you mess with one another? Not even knowing all these characters, I still felt like I had a good understanding of what they were going to be doing with one another. I don't know about you.
No, it was an instant hit with me. So I've actually played this game before. This game came out in 2003. And I played it many years ago, and I forgot where I was at, but I remember, it may have been at Dice Tower Con, where Tom Vassell taught a group of people at the table, and I got to try it out. And it's just totally chaotic. Because when a die is rolled and a character moves, it can trigger other people's abilities. Like there's characters, it's like, if anybody ever lands on your spot, do this. Or if anybody ever lands in a spot with somebody else, do this. If somebody passes you, the most frustrating one, Tony, was the banana. If anybody ever passed you as the banana, you tripped and fell over. So the only thing you could do on your next turn was just stand up. So nobody was wanting to pass the banana knowing that they would trip. Everybody just wanted to make sure once they got in front of the banana, they stayed in front of the banana. But there were things like, some of them were super simple. I played one called Legs, where on your turn, you either had the choice just to move 5 spaces or roll the die. There's so many of these. How many characters are there total?
Well, let's see. We had 7 people playing times 4 there. So there's 28, plus there were more in the box. So maybe 32, No,
I don't know. And I'm actually looking at the rule book right now. Why doesn't it have in the component section how many characters there are? Wow. There's a ton of them.
Hold on. That's 33 plus 3, 36.
Okay. Thank you. Whew. That's a lot of characters. So that means every time you play the game, it's going to be a different combination. I like, too, that after you drafted your 4 characters, you get to decide which one's going to race win. And sometimes you're strategically trying to decide what makes sense to be used in what race. Unfortunately, you can't decide based on what everybody else has done. You're all just kind of deciding on your own at that time. Then everybody goes around the table and tells the racer and their ability, so you can kind of track who can do what. And you quickly learn who can do what. And it's actually, don't I actually like that? Even though we got to see many, many characters over the course of the 4 races, once you get going, it wasn't that hard to remember what each person did.
Mm-hmm. The only time it got difficult is when multiple things were going on at once and we needed that timing thing to happen. That became a challenge of like, okay, did you land on the same space as this character? Okay, that will put Mark's special character's ability into play. Boom, that just happened. Oh, wait, then this just happened. Therefore, where the banana tripped somebody. And then, oh, wait, we were just making sure our timings were not being mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun, great little artwork, straightforward chaos. 6 people. We played with 7 because Nate broke the rules, but that's okay. We were allowed to do that. It's our game, his game. And it plays up to 6. I think maybe 4 or 5. I mean, I think 6 would stretch it a little bit, but 4 and 5, it's going to play good. I don't think you can play better with 3 people. That would suck.
Let's just put it this way. Many people immediately started looking for where they can order. And it's not a very expensive game. I think you looked it up. It was around $30, something like that.
$30. That's right. And it's all on, it's on back order. It's on back order. So why don't you go ahead and put it on back order?
Because it's one of those games that has a nostalgia factor to it, and it's been very hard to find because, like I said, 2003 was the first time it was ever printed, and now they have these big, nice wooden character tokens with nice screen printing on them. You get real chunky dice and a nice board, so the production is good. This is a game that could be played with anybody, and if y'all are looking to hoot and holler and cheer and stuff over the holidays with your family and friends, Magical Athlete, it will be an absolute hit.
Yeah, it will be. A lot of fun. I was thinking about that. I'm like, is this one that my family would enjoy, or would I be sitting there having to explain all the powers to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Plays 6 and up, plays ages 6 and up. My family should be able to handle that. They're above 6.
Right.
So I enjoyed it.
I'm actually going to see if I can get a copy if it's available in here. So I need to ask where Nate got his.
I don't know. I did like the reason why I said this. So Marty had this one character in the very last race. Marty could be in last, and he would get a victory point every time we completed a round. You won, didn't you? You had the most points.
I had the most points because I ended up scoring as much as the first place winner of that race. The races increment in values of how much the first place is going to get in victory points. So the final race is worth the most victory points. And I mean, part of it, a lot of it's luck, right? I just rolled low enough to stay behind the crowd. So as long as I was last by myself, I just got a victory point. And I got a victory point every single round.
Mm-hmm. And then my character in that last race was you had to complete the race with the exact number in order to cross the finish line. So
brutal.
My character would extend out
everybody.
The race. Yeah. So I'm extending the race out. As long as Marty is slow rolling, he's going to keep getting victory points. I'm like, well, this sucks. I just king made him. I'm like, that sucks.
It's chaos, y'all. It is total chaos. Magical Athlete. That was a hit for us. All right, and then the other big thing that we did was we had a Star Wars tournament, Tony. We had 7 people that were interested in learning how to play Star Wars Unlimited, and I had a couple unopened boxes of the most recent set. There's a new one coming out soon. So everybody gets a pack of 6 cards. We taught a few of the people there how to play the game before we did this. Everybody gets their 6 packs. They open them up. They built a deck. We had a little 3-round tourney. Tony stormed straight to the championship to play against Mark. It was 2-0 versus 2-0. Mm-hmm. And I was playing my game somewhere. And all I heard Tony say was, what was you said? You said, Marty, what was the term?
Steamrolled me.
Steamrolled. That was it. And I'm surprised, y'all, because Tony steamrolled me. When I played Tony had a line of sentinels out on the board. Sentinels mean that you have to attack them first before you attack the base, so they're kind of like defenders. I could not get through his defenses. And he was just whittling away at my base defense, and I couldn't touch him. So I thought, I was sitting there thinking, the championship is yours to take. And then all of a sudden from across the room, I hear, you got steamrolled.
I got it. Was one of those things, and as we've learned in all these TCG games, is sometimes your draw is so good that you can't lose, and then you get shafted in your draw. And that's what happened in that last one. It was like Mark had his draw of people coming out right when he needed them, when he had the right resources. And here I am. Oh, look, 2 event cards. Oh, look, 2 event cards. And this was a constructed draft. So you only had 30 cards. So I thought I had it well balanced. And I guess all my events were just filtered their way to the top or something. I was like, this is going to be useless to me. Or my high cost cards, which I knew would go into my resource row, I would go ahead and go there. But I was like, okay, there's nothing I can do. That Kylo Ren card he has that costs 3, that's a 4/4. Has no special text to it. That thing's a freaking killer.
That is funny that you say that. So I had to buy the first round because there were 7 people playing, so everybody got to buy per round. So I sat and watched Nate and Mark's game. I can't remember what it's cost. We said Kylo, was it 3 cost?
3 costs, yeah, 4/4, yep.
Okay, so in the second round, when he had 3 resources, he dropped Kylo Ren. In the next round, he happened to put a lightsaber on him, and it was game over. Nate didn't have a board established yet, and Kylo Ren was just chopping everything that came onto the board. It was insane.
Yeah. I was like, he dropped that. I'm like, uh-oh. Okay, I know it's coming, so I better, look at taking care of that. And I'm like, I've got nothing in the ground. I have got no... Oh, look, I've got this little fox that came out hidden. okay, it's dead. Oh, I'm just going to chip away at his base. It's going to run up and nip at its heels and run away. I was like, man, where is my sentinels? Where are they? And I just could not get through that. It was just unreal. Hey, fun times. And everybody walked away saying what a great time they had and how much fun this game is.
Yes, 100%. And to the point was, it's funny. Mark Kell is like, I'm not getting into any other card game that Marty won. He ends up winning the tournament. And as a prize, I gave him like I had an extra Game Genix Twin Sons deck box. And I gave him that. And he's like, crap, I'm in. I guess I'm playing. But the nice thing is, people don't have to buy anything. I told everybody, look, if you have fun, when a box comes out, like I've got a box for the next set, instead of me opening it, I would much rather sit with 4 guys and do another one of these little sealed tournament things. Everybody gets to open 6 packs, build a deck, play, have fun, and then I just take the cards and sort them and do stuff with it. And there's nobody has to pay a dime. And everybody really enjoyed doing that, so I would love to do that again.
Or better yet, it's one where you and I pull our cards together and let Mark and Nate make Nate or Bert pull and make a Twin Sons. And then we can just, periodically do that.
Fantastic idea, because the Twin Sons format would also be fun with 4 players. So I'm just excited that I know somebody else personally in my friends group, a few other people that are interested. Nate is very much interested, but Nate's a TCG player, so we already play these style of games. I'm just excited that there are now some other people that maybe we can call upon to play. That means my cards will be coming out more often, and I get to use them, and that's pretty exciting to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I hate to go back. Magical Athlete. I didn't know the new Racer Powers were written by Richard Garfield. I didn't know that. Okay.
Nice.
Okay,
nice job, Richard.
Nice. So, yeah, so fun. And I was concerned that because we were using the Force cards, so I was a little concerned how that dynamic in Star Wars was going to work, because I really haven't looked into them. That was pretty darn simple. Why did the bases drop in 2 HP and the rare bases are 25, which is no big deal? But why did they drop the bases to 28, you wonder?
It must have been some sort of balancing thing, because they now have an ability, and the standard bases don't. So if you're coming in and you have a base with an ability that can do something for your deck, then they probably drop the health a little bit in case you were playing against some other deck that had a 30 health base.
That's right.
So it's probably not fair for a 30 health base with no ability and a 30 health base that creates the force.
Mm-hmm. I think we may have even convinced John Detmer to join this, even though maybe he and Emily can get to play in this. He can go out and buy some pre-constructed decks and teach Emily how to play straightforward. I may have to try it with Donna. I wonder if I'll report back on that. See how that goes.
Yeah, well, you've got the tons of starter decks there. And speaking of which, John and Emily did come down from Indiana. That was fantastic. I invited them. We've known them for years. They came and hung out is the correct verb tense here, and played with us. We played Arkham Horror for Friday night. That was like a 4-hour game. It was just very chill. It was just like eat, talk, play sort of deal, which was really fun. And then they stayed here through Saturday and left on Sunday morning. So big thanks to John and Emily for coming out. That was a blast also.
And what did you think of your special surprise? Did you know about that? The strike sculpture?
I did not know. That was really cool. Cool.
So Emily sent me a DM and she goes, here's this strike sculpture. And she goes, just to let you know. I said, well, that's Marty's. Give it to him. Because she's like, do you like it? And I said, oh, it's amazing. But I mean, they went all out on that strike sculpture with, we got a dice dead in the arena with a gladiator standing over the top of it.
That don't seem right.
About a foot tall. May be able to share it in the Discord channel if I figure out how to get the copy of the picture and push it over there. I don't know. It's gorgeous, gorgeous little statue that you can now sit out there with your reigning championship.
And also she made out of clay a pig wearing a sheet that says "Welcome to BooBQ." Did you not see it over the sink?
Yeah.
And it's like, Vanessa's like, that is brilliant. Why didn't we ever think of a pig with a sheet or a ghost pig to represent BooBQ? It's like, well, she's a graphic designer. She's talented. She knows how to think about this stuff.
She knows how to do this stuff. And they had a little crochet knitting circle going over there. We could have all gotten out our crochet needles.
Marty wouldn't have, but yes, they had a fantastic time doing that. And so Vanessa learned how to do a jellyfish. So she's finishing up her jellyfish today.
She was so excited. That was hilarious. Look at me. Look at my jellyfish. All right. Well, that is BooBQ. Anything else before we close out?
Now, one last thing. While at BooBQ, we recorded some live taste buds. And Tony, which one should we do first for this one? We recorded a couple different segments that will play over a couple different episodes. Should we do the potato chips or should we do the hot sauce for this one?
Let's do the hot sauce.
We're doing the hot sauce. We tried the bomb.
Taste buds. Taste buds. Taste buds. Two incredible stuff. Taste buds. Two incredible stuff. Taste buds. They're just a bunch of.
We have another special taste bud segment that's being recorded at BooBQ. Now, this one's a little more dangerous. This is also sent to us by Patrick Tony. How are you with hot stuff, my man?
Well, I'm getting a lot better with hot sauce.
He's married to Donna.
That's right. Woo! Wow. Hey, mic drop. Okay.
If you didn't hear that, Vanessa said she's married to Donna.
But no, I'm getting a lot better. I was a big wussy prior to that. So I'm not really, I mean, you and I have done Ghost Reaper stuff on here.
Mm-hmm.
We've done, so I'm not really that much worried about it, though, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. So if
everybody's got 911 put in their phones here.
ready
at
to go,
BooBQ.
standing around
ready to
watching.
go.
So if anybody watches Hot Ones, the show Hot Ones, the third hottest pepper sauce is called Da Bomb. And everybody hates it because he says it's just hot. Heat, no taste whatsoever. Now, this is Da Bomb Evolution, and I looked up. It's not exactly the same. They say the Da Bomb full is a little more intense. So what we have here is we have some barbecue. That was brought to us by Steve.
Steve, what's on this barbecue, by the way? Sorry. I got choked up. What's on the barbecue? What'd you...
He's got to have the mic so we can hear him. Okay.
My secret rub, it's a combination of brown sugar, salt, paprika, cayenne pepper, basil, coffee, cardamom, a little bit of everything. And then as it smokes, you use a mop, which is equal parts water, oil, Worcestershire sauce, and apple cider vinegar.
Ooh. Nice.
And then you smoke it for 7-8 hours.
And as he was telling us that, we're passing the bomb. The bottle of the bomb around the table we're going to each of us take a little dab of it, and then we'll try it. And let's see how long we can go without having any.
This is a little bit more pasty than I was expecting.
Yeah, it is pretty.
It's pretty thick.
Yeah, it is pretty thick. All right, so
yeah.
I've got a good dab there.
Oh, you do.
I got a good dab.
Going all the way in right at the beginning here.
Okay. All right, the bomb evolution.
Here we
Cheers,
go.
everybody.
Cheers. This is going to hurt.
Well, you immediately get it on the tongue. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's hot.
It's going to come in a minute, right? It's building.
Feel it on the roof of your mouth.
Yep.
The
Strong
thing is,
pepper. Yeah.
It doesn't have good taste.
Yeah.
It's just hot.
No.
Okay.
I'm not impressed with how hot it is.
I've had hotter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hot. Don't get me wrong, everybody. Do not go out and just buy this and
Don't
dump this
drink
all
it.
over your food. No. This is hot,
Yeah.
and it definitely hits the back of the mouth as you swallow it. Like
Yeah.
I'm tasting it now, but it's not like I'm running for water.
No.
The problem is I think we all agree, it's not very good flavor.
Right.
Yeah, it's all pepper. It's all strong.
The capsaicin.
Yeah.
It seems like it's just like the oil.
Did you shake it up really good?
I did shake it up.
If you put it in a chili, it add a nice heat to the chili.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
But their hottest sauce is the Experience that's out there right now, which I have upstairs. I think it's actually a little bit hotter than this, but actually better flavor.
That's okay. I don't need it, but thank you.
So no, I mean, it's Patrick. Thank you so much. See, so those who are watching who didn't try it, do y'all want to try it? It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not. We're not on
Come
the
on.
floor.
Come, it's not bad. Come on.
See, there's one thing about these hot sauces and things. I I just enjoy the taste of the meat and what Steve put on it. So, I don't want to kill it, but people enjoy their hot sauce and all that.
Well,
yeah.
like Steve said, in chili, I do like if you add a couple drops just to add some heat to bring it through.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you, Patrick. We
Thank
really
you,
do
Patrick,
appreciate
so
it.
much. Yeah, again, the bomb evolution, we're taking it probably more lightly than what it is. It is pretty hot, but I think I was expecting
Yeah, I was
what they
expecting
do on the show.
Yeah, I was expecting it to knock me on my butt. I got a little misty, but nothing teary.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But again, I think they said this is the tamer version of the full Da Bomb.
Okay.
So that's probably why. All right. Da Bomb evolution. Are you sure none of y'all want to try it?
Come on, y'all.
Come on.
Come on, get
It's
in
not
here.
bad. It tastes just like it's just like mild barbecue sauce.
We'll put a little bit on that chocolate brain cake over there.
All right. Speaking of which, it's time for dessert. So, Patrick, thanks again. And thank you guys for sitting here and trying it with us.
A big congratulations to Portal Games for a very successful Essen show. If you didn't see his post, Ignacy let you know that he sold out of Bohemians. That's right. Now, you can head over to Shop Portal Games right now and do a pre-order on that and say, hey, Ignacy, send me one of those. People over at Essen thought it was good enough to buy it all out from you. It's $32 right now, plus you get a special solo scenario. Also, he sold out of Age of Galaxy. It too is $32. That's $64 total cart right there. Put that in there. Go ahead and do that. But that is a pre-order now. And you'll get free bonus cards, 5 faction cards for Age of Galaxy. So the people at Essen loved it. And at Essen, they're playing the full games over there. They're not doing this quick demo stuff that we do at Gen Con. They're playing the whole thing. So they liked it. They bought it. They snatched it up. So head over to Shop Portal Games for both of those new releases. From Cranio Creations, we got an opportunity to play Dirt and Dust by Peter Kozlova. This looks like a racing game on the cover, but they talk about deck building, but people don't be fooled. This is I've heard reviewers say puzzle game. This is not a racing game.
I'm glad you said that right up front, because to me, when you see the cover of this box, if I bought this blindly without reading into it, I thought, oh, this is a racing game that uses a deck building mechanic. That is not the case. This is a deck building game with a racing theme.
Yes, that's it. With a mechanic that I have liked from other games like Roll Through the Galaxy. I think that's I have to check the name on that.
Roll for the Galaxy.
Roll for the Galaxy, where you have dice that the very first thing, everybody's doing symmetric turns. This is so solo based in what you're doing. We're all rolling our dice, playing cards, buying cards, moving things on our boards that I have no clue. I'm in my own little world as we're playing. Now, you don't have to play that way. You can take turns around and do that kind of thing. But if you do, then you are extending the length of this game. As a matter of fact, maybe for the first 2 or 3 rounds, you may want to do that to see how people are playing. But there's no interaction here. I'm doing my thing with my racer. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to go out to the market and buy some cards. I'm going to use this mechanic. There's 2 resources. There's wrenches and traction. Wrenches let me buy cards. Tractions let me navigate the various stages of the raceway. And these stages are what are going to generate victory points from me based on another mechanic that I kind of like of putting a car it's either in the acceleration area or the deceleration area. It will generate victory points or popularity.
The other resource is popularity.
Popularity, right.
Yeah.
That's right. You could use popularity to buy things. So everybody rolls their dice. They place them on their board. They then are able to play cards under those dice, then use the dice to activate the cards. Now, you may play a card, activate a dice, and then play another card because you just gained a dice that lets you roll. I mean, all this can be going on. And then after everybody has taken their turns and done their actions, advance the stage, see if anybody who navigated through that stage got their rewards, and then move on to the next phase. after you've gone through 10 stages, the person with the highest victory points wins. I mean, there's not that much to explain to people other than a litany of probably over 50 icons. And when I was teaching the game, I looked at everybody and said, here's your icon sheet, read.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah. Now,
that's it.
Yeah, now I will say the icon sheet is very self-explanatory. There are a lot of icons, but I never had a question on how an icon worked on these cards. And like you said, you've got a hand of cards that says, hey, have 5 cards, you want to play cards. You're only going to roll 3 dice. There are other mechanisms where you could get possible bonus dice, so you have extra dice. And every player board has 6 slots on the board, one for the 6 die, one for a 5 value die, etc., down to 1. So once you push those dice on the board, you can just assign cards in those slots, and the value that's on the die may or may not matter. Typically, it didn't. It's just that the card under this die will be activated this turn. But here's the thing, Tony, that's interesting too, is at the end of the round, every card on your board will shift 1 to the right. So that means a card that you use doesn't necessarily go to the discard pile unless you buy some cards that allow you to discard cards from that track, and those exist too. So I understand the idea of a puzzle, or it's definitely kind of an engine builder where if I can get this card with this card, this is going to generate a lot of traction, and this card also gives me the ability to discard a card to put this really good card back into my discard pile and hopefully draw it again in the future. But it is kind of cool, Tony, too, where a card may have been left over from a previous turn on your board. You roll the dice. You can take one of your freshly rolled dice and activate that previously played card. So maybe there's a card I want to stay on the board as long as possible, and I put it over in the 6th slot. And then as it slides down, I hope I get that value of die to reactivate that card multiple times before it rotates off.
That's right. Now, one thing is, when these dice go on that board, if you have the resource of wrenches, you may increase a die or decrease a die. So, hey, I had it in the 6, I used it, it moves to the 5. Oh, crap, I rolled a 4. If I have a wrench, I can spend a wrench and increase that up to a 5. Also, what happens if I roll doubles of a number? Like I had 2 5s? Well, guess what? I can activate that card twice or spend a wrench to move one of the dice down, however I want to. So that was good that they thought about how to do the dice manipulation so you're not like, oh, crap, I am now screwed that I'm not going to be able to activate these cards that I wanted to activate. Now, there is, when you navigate, this is something I want to talk about sort of slowly, stages. When you have the opportunity to spend traction to put a marker out on the stages of the race. When you place that marker out on the stages, your car will move left or right depending on the road signs on that stage.
A stage is a card, an actual card.
Yeah. Right. And there's 10 of them. So you place it out there. Now, when you place that navigator token, you move your car accordingly. You don't get the reward until at the end, which maybe get additional wrenches or whatever. If I read the rules correctly, I've read over them a couple times. I could be screwing it up now. Who knows? Anyway, I go to that stage. I shift my car over on the track. All right. Well done. But let's say I play to another stage and it shifts my car even more. I hit the guardrail. I just damaged my car. There's another track where you're tracking damage on your car. And if you have too much damage, you now get a damage dice that goes into your pool that will stay there unless you have the ability to repair it by either a card on your board or by a future stage that will give you the reward at the end when that stage comes off the board. Damage dice, they have no numbers other than pips of additional damage and popularity. So the harder you drive, the more damage you take, the more popular you are. So the more dangerous you are, people like you? Is that what I'm hearing here?
People want to see a thrilling race. Rubbing is racing, baby. If you're rubbing, people love that stuff.
I was running good until that Sack Creek Concrete reached out and grabbed my car.
So, pause. So did you read? So that's from a famous skit from a duo radio host, John Boy and Billy, that was stationed here in Charlotte. Did you hear they're retiring in December? They're shutting their show down. All right. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
They're from our high school era, y'all. That's how long they've been around. They're an icon in this area.
They're an icon in that. That came from a period when they were making fun and NASCAR was in its heyday. And it was just funny how they made fun of NASCAR and everything is sponsored. And so every sentence had some type of sponsor associated with it. And that one, Sack Creek Concrete, reached out and grabbed my car, or I hit the Sack Creek Concrete.
I ran into the Sack Creek. I ran into the wall, sponsored by Sack Creek Concrete.
Oh my gosh! But
anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No problem. But and if you get too much damage, you'll take a damage die. You'll also flip over a damage counter, which can influence in future turns maybe additional drift in your car. Cards get more expensive. It costs you more traction. Oh, wait a minute, your hand limit is now 3. These are things that can come into play. All this is going on, but I go back to you're doing this and not really paying attention to what Marty is. Now, there's 4 different drivers, and each driver has a mechanic system that helps them do their things. Mine was about mitigating damage dice. Marty's was about die rolls. Emily, who was playing with us, hers was more or less all about being able to cull cards and bringing the cards back into her hand. Meanwhile, another player was over there, was all about being able to buy cards very cheap and getting them into their hand and building a good comprehensive deck to get victory points that way. Those are the 4 drivers that are out there. There's 2 pools of market cards. You play with either the A's or the B's. The B's are for the more advanced players. So overall, once again, this is not a racing game. It's a deck building game with dice that help you perform your actions that you need, that you've got to figure out how to do that efficiently.
Did you like it?
There were some things I liked. I did not like the solo nature of it.
100% agree. This is definitely one of those games where if you get a really cool engine or a really sweet turn, it's very rewarding, but no one ever sees it. Mm-hmm. Of course, we're playing with Nate, I've had a lot of those, and I got my head down doing my thing, and then I look up and it's like, where did he get 12 points from? And he's like, well, yeah, I generated this and this and this and this. I went, oh, okay. I didn't see that happen. I mean, he did it right. I know he did, but you don't get to share those moments with others of like, oh, you jerk, I can't believe you did that. Or like, that was a brilliant move. In a game that's about racing, where it's typically heavy player interaction, it felt weird. That's why I wanted up front to say, this has nothing to do with actually racing with other people. It's just the theme that's used in this game. And to be honest, it could be another theme besides racing.
Right. Agree. But to the point, though, that you about Nate, and suddenly he has 12 popularity where you were in the lead. If you had known that was coming, you may have played your cards differently. You may have acted. And I think that's something where, even though it may extend out the game, people may need to walk through that a little bit. Okay, assigning the dice is fine. All right. And doing that combo. Suddenly I look up and Nate's got over there 3 red bonus die. I'm like, what in the world did he do? Well, he developed all these wrenches that he could go out and buy some expensive cards. And I'm like, well, that sucks. So I'm not developing wrenches, but I'm developing traction left and right, which is allowing me to navigate. And I was able to adjust my car so as the various stages rolled off, I had already set myself up to where I was always in the center of the board getting the most victory points. I didn't have to worry about that. And that was my puzzle that I solved. I was like, okay, I could do this. Drivers also have these passive abilities that you can say, I'm going to use this ability once per round, and I didn't need a dice to do that. And that was kind of nice. But overall, yeah, I wish there would have been a little bit more rubbing. You know, I wish we were doing some rubbings racing people.
Yeah. And again, it's also one of those things that it's not like the first person to cross the finish line like that. It's straight victory points. Mm-hmm. So I came in expecting one thing and got something else. Now that I've experienced, I think for a deck building game, it is very clever. I think there's a lot of things that I haven't seen in a lot of the deck building games. I like the dice activation mechanism. I think some of the clever ways the cards interact with each other are really good. It's just that I just want to make sure that people understand up front when you see this. I was expecting to compare this against Heat, and they're not related in any way whatsoever, except there are cards involved. But one is strictly trying to get victory points, where the other is actually trying to win a race.
Yeah. Production value, top notch, of course. So keep that in mind. And it's definitely, if this game is successful, I can definitely see expansion stages as well as expansion markets to come out. So we'll see how popular this game is. If you don't mind the solo aspect of this, then you may want to consider this, especially if, while it's the theme of racing, okay, just take it with a grain of salt. So that is Dirt and Dust from Cranio Creations
And Ares Games.
5-minute initiative begins in 3, 2, 1.
Did you ever hear of a game called Railroad Inc.?
Oh, I did. I've played it.
I have too. Yep. It's a roll and write series. Well, Horrible Guild has come out with one called Railroad Tiles. Ink tiles. I wonder what this one's about, Marty. Maybe it's about putting down tiles. What do you think?
It is. And building a network of trains and highways, and to draft and build your map the most efficient way to score the most victory points. So it definitely has the feel of the Railroad Inc. and that you're trying to draw out and fill out things and get points and everything. But this one is tile based. You've got a like home board right in the middle of the table. And if you're playing with 4 players, you're going to pull tiles from a bag and put them below the board. The first column's going to have 2. Next column's going to have 2. And the last 3 are going to have 3 tiles per. For whoever's first player will take an entire column of tiles and they'll put them into their board. They can if they want. If there's something that's just not going to work for them, they can discard 1, but they can only do it 2 per game. And your goal is to make sure everything's connected. There's rules for placement. You can't place the end of a railroad to a highway. You can't place the end of a highway to an empty side of a tile. So you got to make sure everything lines up, that you're building out a network of railroads and highways. And the thing is, though, on each of these tiles, you may have something called a pinpoint. Like the railroads are looking for rail cars, the roads are looking for cars, and both of them are looking for passengers. Because after everybody's drafted, there are these random tiles that's going to come out that will allow you to score 2 of those types of scoring. And you'll just take meeples from a supply and put them down on your network. The thing is, though, the more you have in one line, the more points you're going to score. And that's really kind of the main point scoring mechanism of the game.
Now, I will say this about the tiles. Not all of them have pinpoints on them.
Nope.
So you need to take that in. Matter of fact, when we played, and went through that bag pretty much, there weren't a lot of pinpoints. So there's a lot of thought process in how to put that network together so that possibly you'll get that. When you're drafting these tiles, if you get the most tiles, you're going to draft last. I like that in this game where, hey, I got the most benefit than by drafting the most tiles. Then unfortunately, next round I go last. The person who got the least amount of tiles, generally the person who drafted last in that round, will then go first. And there's strategy in that. Where do I want to take? Maybe I don't want to take all the tiles so I can get a better tile because I didn't see a lot of pinpoints this time. You are limited on how many times you can score of, up to, I think the rail network can go up to 5. Yeah. But there is, at the end of the game, there is a tremendous wham, a big sledgehammer to the old head for every open connection you have on your map. You're going to take, if greater than 5, you're going to take a negative victory point. So that can hurt you a little bit. Stress was there. It's not stress like we talked about in a game we were playing called Eterna, but it is the stress of, oh my gosh, I really want these pinpoints, but I really don't have a place to put those open connections right now. Oh my, how am I going to do this? But I got to score points. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do here? So that was the fun part.
Yeah, and also as you build your network, there's also 2 other in-game scoring is you're going to take your largest rectangle and multiply the number of rows times the number of columns to give you points. And if you have 3 city tiles adjacent to each other, those are also going to score you 5 points too. So as you draft, you try to put city tiles together and make sure to try to build a big rectangle because that will also score for you at the end. I'll tell you, for a very simple tile drafting, tile placement game, I think this is good for families. I think it's easy to understand. Once you explain to them, let me show you an example how the scoring works. Okay, I have a rail car here, and during this scoring phase, I'm going to add another rail car on the same line. I get 1 point for putting this one down, plus 1 for every other rail car on the line, up to 5 points. So once you explain how that works, I think it's easy to follow. I also love that the things that you're going to score for each round is going to be random every single game. So you can't always guarantee when is going to score what and where. Just know that eventually you're going to work your way through all of them. Again, as a basic family game, I like this. Now, Tony, we got the massive edition with all the expansions and everything. It is a ton of expansions, a lot of tiles. They give you a lot of ways to play this game. Now, I just wanted to play the basic one because that's the basic retail version. And that's what probably people may lean towards. So for me, Tony, I say it's the basic retail game. I still think it's a solid family weight game.
I agree with you. I enjoy playing this. And I'll go out on a limb and say I would do this over ink. Because just from the tiles.
100%. I'll take anything over a rolling right, a flipping right, just having to draw and manage all that. I like this so much better. And I just think it's easier to grasp. I like it too that once you draft your tiles, you can kind of start doing your thing while everybody else starts doing their stuff. So it's kind of not simultaneous actions, but once you've drafted, you can start getting down on the board. And by the way, once you place a tile, you can't move it. FYI, you'll probably assume that anyway. But anyway, so it moves rather quick. There's not a lot of AP going on because there's not a lot of choices. Even if you're first player, you've only got 5 columns to choose from.
Absolutely. All right. That is Railroad Tiles from Horrible Games.
5-minute initiative is complete.
Essen's over. You probably saw some pictures and everything of all those cool games that were being released at Essen. And you're like, well, I didn't get to go there. What can I do to get that game? Well, what you can do is head over to miniaturemarket.com. Go check out their pre-orders. See when stuff's coming out. Go ahead and drop a pre-order on that, and it should be sitting there waiting on you. When it releases, it comes straight to your door. Or, maybe put it on hold. As you pre-order stuff, just wait till it gets over $100. You'll get that free shipping, and then just release it all at once. Because you probably want to play all these games over the holidays. Or maybe you just listened to this show and you thought, some of those games sound really interesting. I want to go check that out. Then follow our link over at rolldicetakenames.com for our affiliate link. Take you over there, search for the games that we talked about, and the games that we have talked about in the past, we actually have reviews for on the product page. Just scroll to the bottom of the product page and you can see a link directly to hear about those games that we can cover on many years of our shows. So if you want to, head over to miniaturemarket.com. Tony, we rarely do previews of games, but we have been a fan of Phalanx Games over the years, and they asked us, hey, would you guys be interested in talking about this new Kickstarter that we have coming out in November called Hood, Troubles in Sherwood? Now, typically, Tony, I do like Robin Hood themed games, but I think what grabbed me with this game is 4 asymmetric factions, which we tend to like, a really pretty board, a really cool theme. And again, I trust what these guys do in that company. So I said, let's give it a shot. So Tony, we got it. We've played it a couple times. So again, this is just a preview of a prototype, y'all. And we're just going to give you the highlights of things you might want to consider if you want to back this game when it comes out in November.
You are one of the 4 factions of Sherwood Forest or of England. First off, let's go ahead and say this outright. They are asymmetric. Okay, we can't say that.
Asymmetric.
Asymmetric. Thank you. I am having trouble. I couldn't. I was with Donna today, and I was just eating all my words.
Paul Stanley.
Asymmetric. Yaga Baba.
You got. That's one of the characters from Magical Athlete. There are 4 factions: Robin Hood, the Bishop of Hereford, I don't know, Sheriff of Nottingham, and the French nobility. And Tony, all 4 of those play extremely different. But to me, they weren't that complicated. When you just look at one and figure out how to play it as an individual faction, it's not that complicated. And y'all, even though the goal of this game is to get victory points, the way each faction generates victory points is very unique. and makes this game would feel different every time you play it, especially if you play different factions?
I think when we talk about this type of game, it's one of those where for me, I'm like, okay, am I going to be able to understand what you're doing so that I can interact with you to keep you from leaping ahead, or how do I slow you down, right, to get your victory points? And the same thing, with the other two players that were playing. And to your point, it was like, okay, I understand what Robin Hood's got to do over there. I understood what the knight nobility are doing. And I was like, okay, I'm grasping that easily, as well as my own player, because I was the sheriff. And I was like, okay, I see what we need to do and how we need to interact. And also, some ways I need to benefit you, and some ways that you needed to benefit me, so that I could achieve my ultimate goal. All that was in there. So it had a lot of good interaction. It has some fighting. And I liked how certain elements of the fighting came into play with the method of, okay, if I move in there, I've got to fight. Whereas Bert didn't have that capability as the French. He had to duel somebody. Then over there with the church, no, not so much about having to go and fight. They could if they wanted to. That came into play. That kept a lot of things. There was some positioning too that was going on. Positioning on this map that you had to think about to keep people in check. Yeah, a lot of stuff was going on, but I don't think it was very complicated.
No, definitely not. And like you said, even in the combat itself, it's all varied. Like all of us, or three of the factions, you walked into a place with somebody else, you were going to fight. Whereas the bishop didn't have to. Fighting was an option only if you wanted to. And some of the factions actually were meant to generate victory points by helping other people. Like Bert was playing the French nobility. We played the same factions each time we played so we could really understand those. So Bert was about giving titles to people, which were good. If you gave a title to you, it's like a permanent ability that you get. But for each title that he gave, he got himself victory points. So he was helping you, but he was also helping himself out, sort of deal. Robin Hood was able to freely drop coins all over the map. And when he did, if you dropped them in places that made sense for him, he could move up on one of his tracks that if he got to the very end, every time he was able to advance on that track, he would get a victory point. So everybody plays just a tad differently, but a lot of the points, Tony, came from this idea of ransom. Because during the phase, you're going to be able to perform 3 actions, and each faction has their own unique 3 factions. There's something called development phase, and then there's the ransom phase where you can spend 5 gold from your treasury to pay for King Richard's ransom. And then once a certain trigger is hit with the number of coins that's in the ransom, a scoring is going to happen. So in a 4-player game, once 16 coins total are in the treasury, each player who contributed coins will get 1 victory point for every 3, and the person who triggered the scoring gets a victory point. So there's a little mechanic that every probably round or round and a half, victory points will be created. So you're always trying to generate an income to be able to drop those coins into the king's treasury.
Another item on the board that was that I enjoyed was you had a merchant train and a merchant ship going about. And each faction had a way to interact with this AI player. Okay. That produced the ability to get coins. Because while you're dropping coins, I might need to get coins from them. And that gave me the ability, but you could steal from them if you could beat them.
I was the only one that could attack this NPC, this merchant. And if I did, I was rewarded with a lot of coins. But I could just do a simple trade and only get 2, or beat him in a fight and get 4.
Now, fighting among, like I said, the French could duel. They would pick someone. The sheriff would fight a group that was in there. I didn't have to fight everybody. I could just say, okay, I'm going to battle Robin Hood. If the French and Robin Hood were in that area, I could pick. But fighting was pretty straightforward as well, and it wasn't a convoluted mess of cards and actions and reactions and things like that. So you have cards in your hand, and when a fight came in play, the attacker would say, hey, I have a card that says before the battle begins, I can play this. I'm going to play it. Defender, how do you feel about this? Well, I have one too. Or no, I don't. Okay, great. Let's move on to the battle. As the attacker, I'm going to use a card that represents the strength that I'm going to have along with the characters I have in here. For the sheriff, my strength was 2 per meeple. Then I would play a card that had swords on it, and I would add that to that. If by chance some of the swords matched the color of the region I was in, that gave me additional points. Hey, defender, what are you going to do? Man, I really don't want to use my cards here for that. I'm just going to roll a dice. Roll a dice. It has up to 3 swords on it, and whatever your strength is, we'll add them up. Victor gets the spoils, whatever capability they have. I know for the sheriff, I got to move up on the victory point, and I got to add a decree in an area. That was a special token that I had. Great. That's awesome. Oh, crap. I lost. I now have to retreat. Defender, hey, they get to stay there. That's great. Next phase. Fighting was straightforward. I like that about this game. There wasn't a lot of back and forth of playing cards. Did I screw that up in any way, Marty?
No, you 100% got it because it's really that smooth. That's kind of important when you go into a battle. There is some randomness there. You can try to mitigate some of that randomness by playing better cards, maybe playing a better before battle card sort of deal. So that aspect is really straightforward. It literally just each turn, everybody's going to go through all those phases and just keep going around the table until somebody hits 25 points, which will trigger the end of the game. You're going to do another round, and then whoever has the most points wins. It's really that straightforward. Now, when I first saw this, it's like, wow, this kind of looks like Root because there's just different areas, different towns on the board. There's routes between the towns, and there's some card play, and there's asymmetric factions. But doesn't feel like Root. It feels like something else. I think that comparison is going to happen quick just because of the art style of the game and just the way it looks, but it's not really the same thing. Personally, I would prefer this over Root. Root never really floated my boat a lot because there was a little bit more to it than what's in this game. This game can be played in a lot shorter time, 4-player, 90 minutes or under. Tony, I will say for me, the sweet spot I think is going to be 4 players because we played with 3. The other faction is still there, but it's on autopilot. So it automatically does stuff, but it's not as interesting because you're not going to get to see all the cool things that faction will be done if it's played by a real person.
Also, one thing I will say about Root, there were certain factions based on the game, like the Cat's the one I always remember, is he came out hard and fast and had a better chance of winning. The longer the game went, the less chance the Cat had at winning. I didn't get that feel from this game as much. Now, your Robin Hood character seemed, as the game kind of drug on a little bit, that you got a little bit better at it or the stronger, but I never felt like it was to the point where, people needed a long game or a short game to rush to victory. Everybody seemed balanced as we were playing. Now, I will admit, if you didn't put a player in check, and this happened on both of our games, then someone could run with it. And that did happen. Yep. I mean, I was the sheriff and y'all did not put me in check. However, in a 4-player game, that was done. In the other games, the game we played, we didn't put the French nobility in check. We were worried about the sheriff. So you can't. That demonstrates a balance that's going on between the players and the interaction you want.
Yeah, we've talked about the whole thing. The pulling the lobster back down in the bucket sort of deal. And that's going to happen in this style game. If you see somebody run away, the others will probably work together to keep that from happening and thwart them. And that's where just understanding what the goal of that other faction is and how to thwart that goal. So, yeah, I like that too. So, again, this is something that I like. I'm probably going to back it because I don't have a lot of games like this on my shelf, especially one that plays in this short a time. There is a learning curve because if you sit down and play with people who never played, they will have to learn each individual faction, and then they'll ultimately have to learn what the others do too to be able to play well. But if you play with the same group over and over again, I think this game will shine. So that is Hood, that has been scheduled to come out on crowdfunding on November 25th. If it looks interesting to you, go check out the crowdfunding page at that point, and you can probably just read even more about it.
5-minute initiative begins in 3, 2, 1.
One of the games that we got to preview at Gen Con was called Umami from Heidelberg Games, but it's CGE that's bringing it over here to the U.S. And Tony, we got a chance to try this out. A very simple card game designed by Dan Eskridge. In this game, you have some recipes that you're trying to fulfill. They call them favorites in the game, and ingredients that you're using to try to fulfill those favorites. There are 3 different colors of ingredients. There are green, yellow, and red. Each of those have a different range of values. All the greens are 1 to 3. The yellows are 4 to 6, and the reds are 7 to 9. On your turn, you're going to take a card from the market. There is a market of 4 on the table that you can take from and play to your one of your dishes. A dishes is basically made up of ingredients. You can have 5 dishes there, and you're going to play a card from your hand, and then you draw a card from to refill the one you played from your hand. Now, at any time, you're going to be able to look on the table at a row of 4 favorite cards, and if you fulfill that favorite or that recipe, you can claim that card. Now, Tony, an example of this, for example, it could be, all right, if you got 2 yellow ingredient cards that aren't equal in value, and then 1 red one, you can claim this card and put it right in front of you. But Tony, just because I've done that doesn't necessarily mean that it's locked in and nobody can take it from me.
You didn't make the best dish because somebody else wants this. I mean, they want this based on, is it the lowest combined number or the highest? The favorite will tell you this, right?
Right.
You're sitting there going, okay, if I play this card, then Marty's got the same colors and he gets another card. He could steal this from me. This sucks.
Yeah. So what you're doing is when you fulfill one of the favorites, let's say it's one of those that's saying, I'm looking for the lowest combined values of the cards for this favorite, you're going to play the lowest cards possible. So for example, the lowest combination of a yellow, red would be playing a 1 and a 2 because the numbers can't equal on this particular card. And the lowest value reds is 7. So if I happen to get a 1, 2, and a 7, nobody can steal it from me because they can't get lower than that. Mm-hmm. But if I play a 2 and a 3 and a 7, somebody could play the 1 and 2 and the 7 and steal it from me. But Tony, that's not the only stealing in this game.
No, you can steal some ingredients from people. So on your turn, when you either play from your hand or play from the market, if there is the steal symbol on that card, you may discard that steal card and take somebody's ingredient away from it as long as there's no favorite. You can never take if someone's built a favorite, built a dish already. You can steal their card, put it in front of you. They immediately get to replenish what they want. And then you may play your either the other card if you played from the market or from your hand. But you may only do that once per turn. So, hey, he's sitting over there. Marty's got that 1 and 2 in green sitting over there. And I really need that 1. I'm going to play that steal out of the market, take that 1 and put it over in my area so that I can have it. So you have a slight take that type atmosphere going on. It's not that strong though.
But I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like because when you feel like, I've got a stack of ingredients here, but there's no favorite, and you're looking around and seeing, is anybody else trying to fulfill the same favorite that I am? They might steal one of those ingredients to be able to pull that off. Now, the play is going to continue until all the favorites have been made or taken, or any player has 12 ingredient cards total in their dish area on the table. Mm-hmm. Once that's done, you're going to count all the stars that are on the favorites that you've completed, plus the stars on the ingredients cards, because some of the ingredients actually have stars on them too. Person with the most points wins. Now, Tony, the thing I like about a game like this, it's very easy to explain. The recipes are easy to understand how to create them. And I like the little bit of take that because it's now not just a plain old solitaire set collecting game.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. And I also like the fact that if you get into a situation where there may be a tie for favorites, like even though, you played the 1 and 2 and the 5, and I also play a 1, 2, 5, then there's a way to determine based on blossoms on the cards that says, hey, whoever has the most blossoms can then break a tie. I also like the fact that at the end of the game, we're just going to be totaling up some victory points. We all have a secret ingredient card, but there's a twist to that secret ingredient.
Secret favorite card.
Thank you. Secret favorite. Where when we get to the end of the game, we all turn over our favorites and put it out there in the market. Anybody can fill them. You may have been trying to go for it, but let's say you don't have the lowest, and that's what they want, the lowest value that equals that card, someone else may take it. Matter of fact, I may be able to complete 2 favorites from myself and 1 from Marty, and then, Bert or Mark may have a bunch. I can complete those as well if my dishes are not already full of favorites. Also, you can never play, if you play 4 cards to a dish, you can basically wipe that dish away. It's gone. It's out of here. That's one of the ways to reset in the game. Yeah. If you've screwed up and you're like, this is going to do me no good because Marty has that over there and I'm not going to be able to beat him. Why am I even working on this? I don't see any favorites that come on. Wipe this away. So there's a lot of ability to, reset when you're playing this. You're not locked into something you've already played. That's another thing I liked.
Yeah. Now, this game plays 2 to 5 players. It's going to take 20, 30 minutes. Personally, I think the sweet spot's probably 4 to 5 players. I do think the more people at the table, the more fun, because the take that kind of elevates with the more players that are sitting at the table. Again, small box game that you can throw in and play as that in-between filler game. And again, very easy to teach. I think it's a good family type game too. So that is Umami from Heidelbar Games.
5-minute initiative is complete.
Hey there, Hugh from Podderation here, and if you like today's show, why not have a listen to the All Things Nintendo podcast? Hosted by Brian Shea, former Director and Game Informer and lifelong games journalist, the show explores the ins and outs of gaming's oldest company and one of its biggest, featuring interviews, featuring reviews, featuring everything you want to know about the world of Nintendo. If you'd like to learn more, check out our website at podderation.com.
All right, we're going to talk about current events here in our outro. So I want to ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
AWS, Amazon Web Services, suffered a major outage due to, they say, a data center, whoever, whatever. I don't care. But it took down a lot of programs. But my concern is, as I look around my house, Marty, and I don't know how you are, I wouldn't have been able to turn on a single freaking light bulb because everything is going through that device who will remain unnamed. I don't know if that went down. I didn't know my security cameras went down. What have I gotten myself into? Does Skynet control me? I'm getting a new electric blanket. Guess what it is also by she who shall not be named because it's sitting here on my desk and I don't want it to respond. I can tell it to preheat my bed. That's awesome. However, when I go in there, I'll still have a little box I can press. That's the good news. But once again, I have set myself up to where this one device is controlling my house. I'm scared.
We don't have a lot of stuff connected to that device. We got a couple lamps in our room, but that's it. So we will not go down. We are disconnected from her in that aspect. I can turn on lights and other stuff without an issue. The only thing it did affect is when my alarm went off that morning, because I do use her for an alarm. She wouldn't stop. See, I was like, okay, stop, pause. It's like, stop. I had to unplug it. And I didn't know why until later I found out, their system is down.
Yeah. Oh, I was just like, oh man, current event stuff is going on here. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till I get to work to hear because I'm emergency preparedness. Oh, Lordy, what's happening here? So to give you an example, a lot of the utilities use a system that is backed by AWS for outage calls.
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't getting phone calls from customers to say this stuff. They were still getting the emergency calls, but they weren't getting the straight outage calls because the banks were flooded and queued and they weren't getting through. So once again, how do you manage that? So needless to say, for the next few months, I get to work on that kind of stuff. But that's beside the point. This is going to get real. You know, man, it could have taken our show out.
And people are like, crap. That would have been one benefit of it.
That would have been one benefit.
I don't know how in the world that AWS got like the main that everybody uses. It's like, it's so weird. Yeah. It's like, hey, we sell books. Now we control the world.
Our plan worked.
Our plan worked. First, we'll just start with books.
The brain would have been so proud of them. Pinky and the Brink. They took over the world. Oh my goodness. I was like, this is just unreal. All right. And last but not least, I have not watched The Floor since the young lady scored 3 in a row and she chose pick the category. I have not seen what she picked. So I'm not up to date on that. Don't spoil it for me. But I will ask you this. Have you seen that one since that she won that?
I've seen the next 2 since that.
Okay. So when she picked the category, she had to do it right then, right? She couldn't hold on to it.
Correct. So at the beginning of the next episode, you'll see the category picked. And let me just tell you, without spoiling anything, never would I have thought this new category swapping mechanic would create such a twist in this game that it has. So wait till you watch the next episode, and then the next episode even builds upon that one. So I'm just saying, just make sure not watch any spoilers.
I won't, but I was like, how is this going to take over Time Boost? It's going to have to really do something to keep people from not taking Time Boost, which is adding 5 seconds. And you're telling me it does. Okay, I'll watch it.
Dude,
It's insane.
It's game changing. Like literally it changed the game in the next episode.
Oh, okay. I'm excited for that. It was interesting to see if it was going to do that. And there was something they did recently on Great British Bake Off that was game changing and the technical, and I forget what it was. There was one that was taste. What?
Oh, yeah. Was it one where they've done that before, where it was timed? They did do a timed one where people had staggering times, but they wanted to make sure they got it hot. But it does seem like there was something else.
I think it was the one where they did the, hey, here's what we want you to make. Taste it. Now go figure it out.
That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. So TV, we're ramping up our TV. And let me just say, Boston Bloods or Blue Boston or whatever it's called.
Blue Balls Boston.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Jury's still out on that one. But hey, just keep rolling dice.
And taking names. Hey y'all, thanks for listening. Don't forget to check out our socials. You can find all those at rolldicetakenames.com. We post all of our contests and everything in news in our Discord channel, which you can also find links for over at rolldicetakenames.com. And if you want to support the show, we would greatly appreciate it, and that could be done at buymeamoonpie.com.
All right, for those of you that did not attend BooBQ, you missed probably one of the best things ever. That was the duo of Marty and Vanessa singing Golden. I should have been recording.
We're going up, up, up.
Woo, with that high note. I didn't know you had it in you, big boy.
I don't.